Welcome to your deep dive. Today, we're taking you to Shreveport, Louisiana.
To a town hall.
Yeah, not a place you normally think of for deep reflection,
Yeah.
but trust me, this is not your typical political rally.
Not at all.
So, picture this.
A quiet church hall
Yeah?
with that kind of hushed anticipation you feel before something big is about to happen.
Okay.
On one side of the room, you have Donald Trump, but not the Trump you'd expect.
He's subdued.
Subdued, almost pensive, yeah.
And then, there's this 8-year-old girl named Lily.
Clutching her grandmother's Bible.
Like a lifeline.
Yeah.
You know, it's an image that just makes you lean in, right? Like, what's going to happen here?
Absolutely.
And then, Lily does something incredible.
During the Q&A.
She steps up to the microphone.
This tiny little thing with a huge voice.
Yeah, and asks Trump a question that silences the entire room.
Mr. Trump, what does God mean to you?
Just think about that for a second.
It's such a simple question.
Deceptively simple.
But it goes right to the heart of things, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like she's asking, what's at the core of your being? What drives you?
And to Trump's credit, he doesn't dismiss her or give some canned response.
He pauses.
He takes a breath,
And then he admits that he doesn't always have the answer.
which is not something you usually hear him say.
No, not at all.
It's this unexpected moment of vulnerability that sets the tone for what follows.
It's like a crack in the facade.
Exactly.
Suddenly you see this human being wrestling with these huge questions.
The same questions we've all asked ourselves at some point, right?
Exactly. What's faith? What happens after we die? Where do we find meaning when the world feels so messed up?
And he starts to tell this story about his childhood.
Comparing faith to climbing a ladder.
Yeah, and he talks about being afraid to look down, but knowing that there's something worthwhile at the top.
It's such a powerful analogy, isn't it?
It is, because we all know what it's like to strive for something, to take risks even when we're scared.
And he even admits to falling off that ladder sometimes.
He talks about his struggles.
His losses, his failures, the moments when he's been angry at God.
Especially after his brother Fred died.
It's a side of him we rarely see.
And it's incredibly powerful because he's not pretending to have it all figured out.
He's being real.
And as he's talking, you see Lily start to cry.
But it's not sadness exactly.
It's something deeper, like she's touched by his honesty.
Like she's recognizing a truth in his words.
A truth she maybe hasn't heard expressed before.
Yeah.
And it's not just Lily who's affected.
No.
You can feel this ripple effect through the entire room.
Like something shifted.
People are visibly moved. You can see them thinking about their own experiences with faith and doubt.
It's almost as if Lily, through her question, created this space for everyone to be a little more honest.
More real,
Yeah.
more vulnerable.
And right when you think it can't get any deeper, this man stands up. You can tell he's a hardworking guy.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah. And his face is just etched with this look of, years of quiet struggle. And he asks Trump, do you think part of the problem is we're all too afraid to admit we're struggling with faith?
Wow.
Think about that for a second.
What a question.
It's like he's challenging this whole idea that we have to present this perfect facade of faith.
Like we can't admit to having doubts.
And it's a question that hangs in the air, waiting for an answer.
And Trump, you know what he does? He nods. Like he gets it.
He doesn't try to smooth things over.
Or give some pat answer.
No.
He's like, yeah, faith, it can be a real mess sometimes.
Complicated.
Confusing.
He even says it can feel like you're shouting into the void.
Which I think a lot of people can relate to, right?
Absolutely.
That feeling of like, is anyone even listening?
Is there anyone out there?
Exactly. And it's remarkable because he's connecting with people on a level that goes beyond politics.
Way beyond.
Like in that moment, he's not a politician. He's just another human being grappling with the big questions.
Searching for meaning.
Trying to make sense of it all.
And that's something we can all connect with.
And then Lily, the little girl who started this whole conversation, she speaks up again.
Still holding that Bible.
Yeah, and she says, my grandma always said, faith is like planting seeds. You don't always see them grow right away, but you got to believe they will.
Wow.
An 8-year-old girl dropping wisdom bombs.
Talk about powerful.
It's like faith isn't about instant gratification. It's about trusting in something bigger than yourself.
It's about hope.
And what's interesting is that Trump, a man who's all about immediate results, he seems genuinely moved by her words.
He does. He even praises the wisdom of her grandma.
It's this really beautiful moment of connection,
Bridging generations.
highlighting the universality of these themes.
And then Trump decides to share something really personal about his brother Fred,
He describes Fred as this incredibly kind, genuine guy.
someone with a real light about him.
But he also acknowledges that Fred had his demons.
His struggles,
Yeah,
which I think is important.
it humanizes him, right?
It shows that even the people who seem to have it all together, they still face their own battles.
Exactly. No one is immune to suffering.
Hmm.
And then Trump drops this bombshell.
He reveals that Fred's death left him feeling incredibly angry.
At Fred.
At himself.
At God.
You can feel this collective gasp in the room.
It's like he's peeling back layers of himself that we've never seen before.
And he talks about turning away from God, feeling abandoned and betrayed.
Yeah, like, why would this happen to someone so good?
Why would you take him from me?
But then he describes this turning point. He has a dream, or maybe it was a memory,
Of seeing Fred's face.
and hearing his voice say, "Don't be angry, Don. You've got work to do."
Whether it was real or imagined, this moment seems to be this catalyst for him.
A turning point.
He realizes that maybe there is a reason for things.
Even when we can't understand them.
And think about Lily, witnessing all of this.
This little girl who asked a simple question about faith, and now she's in the middle of this incredibly personal and emotional story.
It's a testament to the power of genuine connection, isn't it?
It really is. And then Trump addresses the room.
He acknowledges that we all struggle with faith,
That it's not always easy.
that there are going to be doubts.
Fears. And instead of dismissing those doubts, he encourages people to lean into them,
He says it's okay to be messy.
to acknowledge the complexity of it all.
He even points to Lily as an example of someone who isn't afraid to ask the tough questions.
And remember the woman who lost her husband.
The one who felt like she'd lost her faith along with him.
Yeah. She speaks up. Her voice is trembling. But she asks if it's too late for her to find her faith again.
That connection to something bigger than herself.
And the whole room is just silent, waiting for Trump's response. And Trump, he tells her it's never too late.
That faith has a way of finding us again.
Even when we think it's gone for good.
Like it's waiting for us.
Maybe just around the corner.
Or in the quietest moments.
When we least expect it.
It's a powerful message of hope.
And it's like, at that point, the entire energy of the room changes.
Like everyone took a collective breath.
What started as this political event has become something much more profound.
A shared space.
For vulnerability,
Reflection.
connection.
People are wiping away tears, nodding their heads, having these hushed conversations.
You know, it's amazing how a single question from a child can do that.
Crack open a room full of adults.
And then Trump, he starts talking about the unifying power of faith.
How it transcends political differences.
Yeah, it's not about agreeing on everything.
It's about recognizing that we're all facing similar challenges.
We're all searching for meaning and purpose.
And that's what connects us.
He even uses that ladder analogy again.
Saying we're all climbing that same ladder, even if we're on different rungs.
And what's remarkable is he's saying all of this with such humility.
Like he's finally letting go of the need to be right.
To be in control.
To have all the answers.
And the room responds to that. You can feel it.
There's hope in the air. Connection. People are nodding, clapping, reaching out to shake hands with strangers.
And as the event comes to a close, Trump leaves them with one final thought.
He encourages everyone to reflect on their own faith journey.
To embrace the uncertainty.
To be open to the possibility of something bigger than themselves.
And as you go about your day, we want you to consider the same. What does faith mean to you? How can you use your own experiences and beliefs to make the world a more compassionate, more connected place? Because that's what this deep dive has been all about. It's about the power of human connection, the universality of our struggles, and the enduring hope that faith, even in the face of doubt, can offer.